Good morning, everyone. I'm 1 minute late. How's everybody doing? It's Monday morning, and it's new every morning. I hope you guys are having a great morning if you're up with me this morning. I'm having a good morning, a really busy morning. I'm late because my dogs were outside and they wanted in, and I knew they would harass me all the way through this if I didn't let them in before. So they're now inside. It's all going to be good. I'm really looking forward to the day. I've got a super busy day, lots of things going on in my life, and that's okay. That's all right. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Good morning, everyone. Especially you morning warriors that are here with me in the morning. I love it when people watch this thing live with me. Right now, I'm here live. If you're there, you're here live, and I'm excited about that. So anyway, we weren't here Friday. We had a lot of interesting weather situations at the end of last week. Electric was off, came back on Saturday about 10:30 p.m. And so we just didn't have much going on here, just trying to stay warm, and then we'd go other places to stay warm, or to eat or things like that as much as we could. Also, I had a bunch of trees come down in that storm in my yard, so I'm having to work through that. It took us about an hour to chainsaw our way out of my driveway. That's how many trees came down. So still working through that. For anybody that listened to my podcast last week, I'm having trouble with my transmission on my van. It was an interesting week, to say the least, but it's a new week. It's a new morning, and I hope you guys are excited about Christmas week. I know I am. It's going to be a great week, as is every week as far as I'm concerned. But this is podcast number 43. That means there's at least 7 more up to 50, and then we'll see where we go from 50. I have some stories today. It's all over the place. So anyway, let's get started. The first story I love all these stories actually. They're all for different reasons. Some of them I love because I just love them. Some of them I love because they're so silly or inspiring or different things. But anyway, the first one is helping patients feel like kids again. It's about kids that are patients. And, when you're a patient, even if you're an adult, but especially with children, it's hard to really get in the Christmas season if you're stuck in a hospital or that type of thing. Well, Texas Children's Hospital wanted to change that. So they made a special holiday market just for their patients. Now, this market is, first of all, is really, all kinds of decorations and things like that, Christmassy type stuff. And the kids get to come in and browse through, it's kind of like a little markety store, through goodies, then they can pick out gifts for their parents, their siblings, caregivers, whatever, something they're not able to do because they're in the hospital, because they're a patient. And so, this is a great idea. I think all children's hospitals should do something like this. Maybe it will catch on. Besides, helping the children with this, the spirit, it provides a sense of life can be normal, because if they weren't in the hospital and they weren't going through that, then they would be out there where they could buy things and do things and stuff. So, it's a hard time anytime you're going through treatments in a hospital. I mean, I don't know if everybody on here has been in the hospital much, but I've been in the hospital a little bit. And so it's just really tough to get into the Christmas spirit or anything, but this makes this season a little better for these kids, and I love that story. So the next story is, there's a controversy brewing in the next story. Here's a guy named Chris Buck. Okay, now I don't know if I wrote down where Chris is from, but I think he's from Sweden, maybe, somewhere in Europe, and he has made a beer that's also a vaccine. Okay. Oh, Lithuania is where he's from. He's in this article, he's drinking an unfiltered Lithuanian farmhouse ale, is what he called it. It's the world's first vaccine delivered in a beer. I'm almost positive of that. Now, Lithuania is popular, it's a popular thing for beer. And I don't know why you put it in beer, because I'm sure you could put it in anything, liquidy. But because beer is popular, and maybe people that are hard to get to take vaccines, maybe they drink beer anyway. But it just took a small sip, making vaccines, to try and make it more accessible. Because if you can put it in a beer, that means you can probably bottle it, which means that, you could take anyway. It's kind of an interesting idea, and of course, there's a lot of safety concerns around vaccines, and I don't know what kind of vaccine this is. I don't know. I'm sure all vaccines can't be delivered in beer. I don't know, but this idea may go nowhere. Who knows? It's just an unconventional idea from my thing. So I don't know what you guys think of this, but anyway, hopefully things are going good. I haven't seen anybody say anything on my my podcast yet, and somebody just sent me a message and said they can't see it, but it is running. I'm not sure why people wouldn't be able to see it. So anyway, the analysis shows that data centers are a pretty big deal. So I don't know that much about data centers, except they do data, and so there's $61 billion in 2025 going toward data centers. Now, that's the only beginning of the story, because with data centers growing, also we're going to have a problem with power. So we'll see where that goes. And I don't know who is able to see this. If anybody's out there, please contact me. Otherwise, you can watch it on replay. So self-driving vehicles is the next story. And Waymo, we did a story a few weeks ago about these. Waymo is one of the companies that are doing self-driving taxis or whatever. Well, they suspended their service in San Francisco because there was a lot of blackouts in the city, and the poor self-driving cars weren't able to function properly or safely. So they just kind of stopped it. So another problem with self-driving cars. There is a new method for measuring blood glucose levels developed at MIT, and it could save diabetes patients from having to prick their fingers several times a day. There are some things that you can put on your skin now that will continuously do that kind of thing. But this is something all new, because this is something where they actually shine a light on you, and through that process it'd be like something close to an infrared light. And right now the machine is like shoebox size device that measures it without any needles, no needles. Now they're working on the system, and they have research on one that actually could be wearable. You can actually just wrap around your arm or whatever, but no needles. But it would work similar to the continuous ones that have needles that are out there. So that's promising, as they continue to make it easier to check your glucose levels. Is great for people that don't want to prick their body all the time with needles. Now, this story I like. Researchers in Sweden have found a link between eating more high-fat cream or high-fat cheeses and lowering the risk of developing dementia. People who consumed 20 grams or more of high-fat cream daily had a 16% lower risk of dementia than those who consumed none. People who ate 50 grams or more of high-fat cheese, that number went down to another 13%. Now, they found no association whatsoever with low dairy products like butter, milk, fermented milk, whatever, yogurt, and all that stuff. So they didn't find any of those, but only these cheeses and this cream. Research emphasized the study published in the Neurology Today does not prove that eating high-fat cheese and low high-fat creams lower the risk of dementia. It only shows an association. So I have two quotes from Emily Sarastat of Lund University. This is what she said. For decades, the debate over high-fat versus low-fat diets have shaped health advice, sometimes even categorizing cheese as an unhealthy food to limit. That's one of her quotes. The other one is, our study found that some high-fat dairy products may actually lower the risk of dementia, challenging some long-held assumptions about fat and brain health. Because they have told us for a long time, fat is bad for your brain. Yeah, maybe not so. So the debate continues. High-fat, low-fat cheese. Do you eat high-fat cheese? Who knows where that debate will go. It'll be interesting to see what they learn from more of this. There has been some studies about fat is actually good for your brain. So we'll see where that goes. So with that, that's my day. You guys have a wonderful day. Be blessed. I know that I'm not seeing comments on here, so I may be doing a live on a different area that people aren't able to see it. I'll check that out when I get off. You guys have a blessed day. I'll see you tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. Bye-bye.